Hi, I'm Elizabeth Ajayi. I work with Accenture and I work within emerging technologies. So we work with the new and disruptive technologies that we feel we should, develop capabilities in. So it would be technologies like artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, IoT, augmented reality. But my main focus is robotic process automation, and I'm doing a bit of AI as well on the side.
AI being augmented or
artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
So your specific role, could you walk us through a little bit about a typical day for you?
Yeah.
I know that it probably varies, but
yeah. So I'm a lead business analyst. So I lead a team of business analysts. So at the moment I've got about 5 BAs in my team, and we're doing a delivery piece of work with one of the largest retail banks in the UK. So a typical day would involve, starting the day with like a checkpoint, making sure everyone, has a good plan for the day, making sure everyone has visibility of everything we need to cover. And then I would immediately have to jump on a client call to give them an update on what we're doing, in terms of, what they expect of us, or what we've agreed with them. And then we also talk through dependencies, any issues we're facing. And then the rest of the day will pretty much be, sitting in a lot of sessions, understanding anything. So just to give you like a brief background to what we do. So within robotic process automation, we try to create robots or virtual assistants that can run processes or run activities. So an example of a process could be maybe posting money on a customer's account. So we need to understand the process of posting money on the customer's account so we can teach the robot to do it. So the role of a business analyst is to understand the process as it's done today, so we can work with the developers to build the robot. So throughout the day, we'd sit in a lot of sessions with the process subject matter experts, to understand what they do, to understand, possible problems or issues that the robots might face. And we try to document this so the developers can use it as a reference.
Okay, it sounds very interesting. When you hear a lot about robotics in the news and everything that's happening.
Yes.
But so far I've never had the opportunity to talk to someone that actually works with it firsthand. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of questions for you. But backing up a little bit before we go into those, what's the story behind your employment at Accenture? Have you always worked here, or how did you get the position that you have today?
So I joined Accenture in October 2015. I thought I was gonna do a PhD because I really like learning. So I did a degree in business studies, and then I did 2 masters. And my last masters was in business analysis and consulting. So I came into Accenture with a lot more, theoretical experience. I understood like methodologies that, consulting companies would typically use. I think I had, I already had, lots of opportunities in the past to apply my problem solving skills and develop them. So coming to Accenture was a natural choice for me. I knew that I wanted to, go into the professional world and actually solve real life cases. But I say my journey is really different from most people in Accenture, because most people are not really from a consulting or business analysis background. But I'm really happy I made the decision to join Accenture, and I'm really different. I always knew I wanted to go into consulting, but rather than joining a consulting company, after uni, I decided to do 2 extra degrees. But yeah, that's what pretty much led me to apply and go for the job.
So obviously, in terms of academics, you have a plethora of different qualifications that have definitely helped you in the workforce.
Yeah.
Alongside those, have you had any sort of work experience prior to professional work?
I did I had some part-time roles in retail, just customer services, and I did some internship I was part of an internship scheme that my university set up with a few companies to kind of just kind of get us to apply, the skills we were learning around business analysis, project management, and problem solving. So I'd say that was definitely like a good experience that I've found relevant to what I'm currently doing within Accenture.
And when you first entered the professional working world, what surprised you, or what challenges did you come across that made you think, God, I didn't expect that, or is there anything that you would want to prepare the students that will be watching this for when
I'd say it's the scale and the complexity of the work that we do. I knew Accenture worked with big companies, fast-paced clients, but I didn't know what it would mean. I didn't know the impact that it would have on the level of complexity of the results and solutions that we have to deliver. Our clients are very technology savvy, our clients have got like really good people, really smart people, so they expect a lot from us as well. So because of the caliber of client that we cater to, and because of Accenture's positioning, sometimes the level of complexity can just be a bit,
overwhelming.
Overwhelming. But there's a lot of support available. So I guess I didn't know that Accenture had a lot of practitioners that had done it, across different industries and companies, and it was really just good to know that, right, this is overwhelming, this is challenging, but I can always leverage on people's experience or get people to mentor me through the process. So I'm not, completely by myself.
Right. And so you said that you always wanted to go into consulting. You knew that was going to be your pathway. At which point did you sort of come to that conclusion?
So I think it was in my final year at uni when I was doing my first degree, because we used to do a lot of case studies, and I knew consulting was about problem solving. So most of our modules would involve reviewing a case study and coming up with solutions or propositions to help them solve their problem. So it was always very easy for me to identify what the problem was, and I liked the challenge that came with understanding different scenarios and trying to brainstorm or come up with the solution. And also I've always enjoyed teamwork, so I translated that to what that would mean in terms of career preferences, and consulting was on the top of my list.
And then in terms of you said that the clients that you work with are very technology savvy, and so the very high caliber clients that you work with. So how do you keep yourself updated in terms of industry news or relevant trends?
So in Accenture we have something called the Accenture newsroom. So you can I always go on this, and this in itself could be like a single source of information or news or anything in the media that we need to know about. Also, we constantly get emails and just notifications around anything that is happening within the industries we're aligned to, or within the technology areas we're aligned to. So I think Accenture kind of understands that everyone has to get on with their client deliverables, and they always encourage us to go on a lot of refresher trainings, and in most cases you'd always learn a lot on the job as well, because you always face new challenges, you always work with different people, you always work in you always work within cross-functional teams, and that in itself brings a lot of learning opportunities as well.
Right, sure. And going back to sort of your multiple educational experiences, was there someone that inspired you in particular, perhaps a professor or a lecturer at your university, or your parents, or anyone that sort of influenced you in the career that you've taken today?
Yeah, so when I was at uni, one of my lecturers she had a PhD and she had 3 masters. I think 2 or 3 masters, and I said to myself, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to get 3 masters and a PhD. But it was mainly because I really liked learning, and I liked the way she came across. She was very savvy, she was very knowledgeable, And I really wanted to be like that. So I think she was mainly my key inspiration in terms of academic qualifications or yeah.
A role model.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So in terms of the work experience, so the placement that you did during your third year at university, do you perhaps wish that you had the opportunity to do more work experience, or do you think that your university degrees prepared you adequately for college, for professional working?
I think, well, based on my experience, if I had come to, so if I wanted to play this back, so if I had come to Accenture with just a single degree, would I still be successful? Yes. Would it have affected me? I don't think it would have had so much of an impact, because within Accenture, everyone is given the opportunity to learn as much as they want to, and Accenture has different areas, that they specialize in. So if it wasn't robotics for me, it'd probably be, something else. I probably wouldn't find. That probably wouldn't. That would probably render, my previous experience and academic qualification irrelevant. So I feel like for everyone, as long as you're just kind of committed to what you want to achieve, your background may maybe help you in a particular journey that you want to take. But then it's different for everyone. So in essence, I guess what I'm just trying to say is that I've seen a lot of people that only have like a degree in history, and they're still like successful in their career, because when you work with a huge company like this, there are always new opportunities coming up in terms of areas of focus, areas of capabilities. So while some people might find it natural to go into one area because they have certain experiences, some people might just find it easier to go into another area because actually they don't need any experience. They just need to kind of absorb themselves into the training and development that is available. So yeah.
No, I understand. That makes a lot of sense. So you're saying both, regardless of your sort of specialism in terms of your education or your academic background, joining a large organisation like Accenture provides a lot of opportunities because they are so diverse.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So yeah.
And what advice would you give someone that was looking to get into this industry, and specifically, your focus on robotics and augmented reality and artificial intelligence? How would you advise students?
So I think it's really important to remain conversant, to always keep yourself up to date with new technologies, because if you don't know where the industry is, then it'll be difficult for you to kind of, start thinking of career steps. So, and I think, especially for people that are looking to get into technology is fast-paced. So I think it's really important to get into the habit of doing constant surveillance of new technologies, attending different events to find out what people are doing in different areas. And I feel that would help you. That would help build your appetite, for that area as well. It would help you become more knowledgeable, and it would help you make more informed choices when it comes to choosing a career path.
Sure. So you're saying going above and beyond your classroom experience or your college experience, and really doing your own research and attending events and educating yourself outside of the classroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I understand. This might be a little bit more of a tricky question, but what has been your most successful achievement so far? And you can take a few moments. It tends to stump a few people.
Yeah, most successful achievement. I think it would be how I've quickly evolved into my role as a robotic process automation business analyst, because when I joined Accenture, I was new to Accenture. I didn't know much about technology. Yes, I had business degrees, but this is more technology centric. So and I had to learn a lot about robotic RPA technologies, RPA software. I also had to immediately learn about the the industries, the industry that I was working within. I had to understand, how my client wanted things to be done, and I had to do this within a short space of time. So I guess the key achievement that I'm definitely proud of is the fact that I was able to do this, and I was able to do it well, and it was recognized as well. And I did it with very minimal support as well, or supervision.
So you really took your initiative when you first started,
and
hit the ground running in terms of acquiring the knowledge that you needed to be successful.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and that's not an easy task at all.
No, and I had to be very proactive with my learning and my external research as well, and I had to seek clarification around what was expected of me, internally and externally, and that helped me prepare myself for the journey.
So in terms of robotics, because I'm personally fascinated
by
how things are changing, and as sort of an outsider that just sees them pop up and emerge within different businesses, what are some of the challenges that you face perhaps on a daily basis when trying to implement new robotics into different businesses?
I think the key challenge is getting the initial buy-in, so getting people to understand that it's the best solution, because usually our clients are familiar with a lot of automation technologies like scripting, macros, but robotics is really new. So the key challenge that I often face is having to explain to my clients why robotics is different from macros, or why it's different from scripting, and why they need it. So, and I guess another major challenge is trying to convert what currently happens within client operations and processes and trying to design that with a robotic mindset, I would say, because when you see a colleague or like a human doing a process, obviously they could be making a lot of decisions, they could be making like a lot of they could be doing a lot of judgment-based activities which a robot cannot do. So it's trying to figure out which steps or which activities can be robotized and which ones need to remain manual, and also having to play that back to the client in a way that is logical as well, because you can't have the robot doing something and passing it on, and you can have multiple look backs in the process. Right. So it's the entire piece of trying to design the solution and make it attractive as well.
Right, because you don't, I think there's certain, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's certain sort of industries where robotics aren't going to be able to replace because they need that element of human interaction.
Exactly.
And they can't predict certain things. I'm sure there's so much they can do, but the emotional, intellect that humans have.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know that robotics are ever going to be able to replace that entirely.
Yeah, exactly. And you're correct. So it's, and sometimes clients believe that robotics can solve everything. So it's just a case of you explaining why you still need that creative element or that judgment-based element in the process, and also getting them to understand that by getting robotics to do the simple, structured, standard task, you can still drive benefits for them.
Because then they can free up time to do more complicated.
Exactly. Yeah.
I understand. I'm learning as well. This is for me as well. So what is the most favourite part of your job? What do you enjoy the most about the work that you do?
I think the favourite part is maybe the testing bit. So when I've done the design or when I've worked within a team or led a team to do the design, and we've worked with a team of developers to build the robots, it's always exciting when you do a showcase and you invite the client to come see the robots run. So that usually happens during the user acceptance testing phase, because you get the subject matter experts, so the clients or the process owners, to sit down and watch the automation. So I find that really exciting, only because it's like good reward for the hard work that has gone into the design, and it proves that everything we've been talking about and been documenting works as well. So I find that exciting.
It's pretty physically very rewarding as well to see, you know, all the code and all the work the developers have done, and all the interactions and the small changes that you've made actually, you know, come to life.
Yeah.
And it's right there in front of you. So I can imagine. So in terms of your aspirations or your career, the field that you're working now, do you see yourself continuing to work in this sort of specialism for a while? Or
Yes, so within Accenture we have an internal group called Emerging Technology. So I'm a specialist in robotics now, but I'm moving into artificial intelligence because robotics and artificial intelligence work hand in hand. So artificial intelligence could help robotics kind of, you know, standardize the inputs that it needs, or help it do the more cognitive bit that robotics necessarily can't do. And I see myself progressing into that space more, mainly because our clients are demanding for, you know, cognitive robotics, which is a combination of AI and certain elements, you know, of artificial intelligence and robotics. So, and I feel like the emerging tech space is very wide as well. So we've got Internet of Things, we've got augmented reality, and the amazing thing with these technologies is that you could actually merge them together as well. So I definitely see myself continuing in that path. And hopefully in the future I would develop, you know, stronger capabilities in IoT, augmented reality, and, you know, artificial intelligence as well, like I've done in robotics.
If just for the benefit of the students, just they understand, obviously it's very intricate and technology is huge and very vast. So I want to be sure that they understand exactly what your specialisms are. Can you explain a little bit about artificial intelligence and what that specifically is?
So artificial intelligence systems or computers are computers that can sense, read, and can comprehend. So we actually have one in our innovation hub, and it's like a robot, but then it talks to you. And there's a software called Amelia, which everyone should Google. And Amelia is like a digital assistant, so it could have conversations with you, it could ask you questions, you could ask it to do things. So the concept of artificial intelligence is having machines that are programmed to be intelligent, that can make decisions, both supervised and, you know, unsupervised decisions, and you can get them to learn as well. So artificial intelligence has like many branches. A key branch is machine learning, where, you know, machine can constantly learn based on the data that, you know, it's exposed to, and you can use that to make decisions. And then you have natural language processing, which is about converting, you know, speech to text. So, or converting text to speech. So if you type in to an AI software and it replies to you in speech, so that's artificial intelligence, because it's actually converted the characters that you've typed into speech. And then you have computer vision. And then you have image recognition as well. So, and a good example of that is, you know, technologies around, you know, biometrics and, you know, facial recognition. So computers that can actually, you know, scan your face and say, oh yeah, that's Cristiano. and those, you know, that's real intelligence, but it's just programmed using algorithms and different, you know, statistical combinations.
Do you feel as though you've learned a lot in terms of working with developers that actually build the code and also understanding the business process itself? You're almost the middle ground between the two.
Indeed. So, and it's really, really cool because when I joined Accenture, I wasn't techie, but now I talk, like, sometimes, you know, I'm talking about architecture, I'm talking about servers, I'm talking about, because these are like things that are relevant to the field that I am in. And I feel like, as I said, I feel like the major learning and like most of the knowledge that you get are from, you know, your colleagues, because your developers would ask me questions and I need to know how to translate those questions to requests or to questions that need to go to the client. So I feel, and it's a good balance as well. As you said, so I'm learning a lot of I'm learning a lot of concepts from the business, my clients, the processes that I'm assessing, and I'm learning a lot of, technology, architecture concepts as well from the developers.
Right.
Yeah, but I love it.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Let's just see, make sure I haven't missed anything. Oh, something I did want to ask you, because I was reading about it recently.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by the Internet of Things?
Oh, okay. So Internet of Things is the concept of everything being connected in really simple words. So your phone being connected to your car, connected to your house. It's just everything having an element. The best way to explain it is everything having a chip in it.
Okay.
So a good example would be maybe putting a sensor in the room that would detect movement. So when someone walks in, the sensor would send a signal to the server, and the server will send a signal to the lights, and the lights will come on. So you're connecting, the room by putting that sensor to the lights. So that's a good example. And there are different applications of it, and we've done a lot of things with our clients as well around improving customer experiences by making sure that they just have to click one thing, and everything works intelligently to kind of orchestrate itself. Does that make sense?
No, that does make sense. And I was sort of thinking about the Amazon Echo, which someone just bought me for my birthday present. And so I've been experimenting with that, and it provided me a lot of ideas in terms of where things are going.
Exactly.
For Amazon, and I'm sure for other companies that are into technology.
Yeah.
And one final question: any general advice for our career college students?
I would say the college or university or school is the best place to build skills that would make you successful in the workplace. So when I was at uni, I really, really tried, to be diligent, and I think it's really paid off in terms of, how much I was able to learn at uni, and how much I found that useful and relevant. And it's just really natural for me to be diligent because I've learned that discipline at college. Because I feel like it's good to learn all the knowledge as well, but I think people should start identifying the skills that they also need to learn that will be useful. So things like punctuality, diligence, discipline, just basic things.
So the soft skills as well as
soft skills, like communication skills as well. And I think definitely people need to build an appetite for learning as well, because in a workplace like this where we obviously always have tight deadlines and we always have to deliver, if you don't build that habit, or if you don't have that habit of constantly learning or constantly doing the external research, you just keep using your existing knowledge and keep applying it, but it'd be very difficult for you to kind of learn alongside as well. So just building all the skills and building the habits that would help you.
So constantly evolving, never really being satisfied with where
exactly.
you're at.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're a great example of that, with all the education that you have, and you continue to do so while you're working. It's excellent.
Trying to be.
Well, it was great to meet you, and hear a bit more about what you do, and we really appreciate having you here.
No worries.
Brought some new insight to the table that we didn't know about before. I've definitely learnt something, so thank you very much.
Nice to meet you
You
again.
too.